curious about your idea of teaching Webflow with the whiteboard. Where did that came from?
Probably I would say because my mom is a teacher.
Francesco, what's up? Good to have you on the show. How are you?
Oh, my pleasure, my pleasure. Yeah, I'm fine. It's very, very hot here in Tokyo. This is something I really don't like, but yeah, this is how the weather is right now. So yeah.
Okay, we're gonna talk all about your move to Japan today. But I was trying to
Yeah.
figure out, like, when did you join the Webflow, Flux's Webflow experts team? How long ago was it?
Oh, less than a year actually. It
Less
was,
than a year.
yeah, it was August 2022. So yeah, still
Got
less than a
it.
year.
Got it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, feels like a
It
lot.
actually
Feels like
seems
a lot.
longer than that.
Because I
So,
think you've been part of our community before, right? I remember you were helping so many people
oh,
in the community. I was just like, we better start
yeah.
paying this person, right?
Yeah, probably the very first time I wrote a post inside the community was in 2020 during COVID. Yeah, the first wave of COVID. It was probably between April and May. So
Yeah, so
yeah,
you've been in the community for a while before becoming
yeah, for
officially part of the crew.
yeah, for a couple of years. Yeah, before joining
Nice.
the team.
So you've made this crazy move from Italy to Japan. I want to hear all about it. You're leaving the remote Webflow developer dream.
Yeah.
Tell me the whole story from the beginning. How did you get into
Oh,
Webflow?
yeah, yeah,
How,
cool, cool.
what, why did you move to Japan? How did it all happen? I want to hear the whole story.
Yeah. So probably everything started when I was working, yeah, for a company. So I have a 9 to 5 job. And actually, to be honest, that was for me at least, yeah, a horrible experience because I was feeling like I wasn't learning anything, and probably I also felt that they weren't really investing on me. And so yeah, after talking with some friend of mine, they were already freelancing. They were already freelancing, and yeah, I decided to, I don't know, start surfing the internet to kind of, I don't know, find a way to start a new career. And
What
actually,
were
I
you
don't
doing?
even.
What were you doing in that job?
I was a software developer, so something completely different from the web developing world. And actually, I don't even remember how I came across Webflow the very first time. Probably it was thanks to one of your videos. I don't really remember. I remember that I watched a lot of videos from Flux at the very beginning. Then I started picking the Webflow 101 course, and yeah, then I just decided that it was the right time to quit my my 9 to 5 job and start a new a new path. So it was very, very tough at the very beginning because I didn't really have any uh, network to start with. So I just got the very first couple of projects thanks to friends of mine. But other than that, yeah, at the very beginning I really struggled getting
Where were
clients.
you based?
And
Where were you based in Italy? In like a big
at that
city, in a
time,
small
yeah,
town?
at the very beginning, I was in the north near Verona,
Yeah.
and then I decided to go back to my home country, which is in the south of Italy. And yeah, because I really need a more, let's say, relaxing environment and to really focus on growing my business. And so yeah, I decided to take a step back to then make more steps. And yeah, and I think it worked in the end. But yeah, I was saying that at the very beginning, yeah, I really struggled getting my very first clients, and I decided to invest a lot on, I don't know, growing a network and making connections with a lot of people. And this is probably why I decided to really focus on Flux community, for example. And and to be honest, probably yeah, thanks to Flux community, I really started getting I really started getting jobs. And then after posting a few things on LinkedIn, also my network started growing. And so yeah, at the moment I can really be happy with what I built so far. So yeah,
What
I would
what were
like to
some of the
change.
first projects? What were some of the first projects that you did?
Probably the very first project, yeah, I collaborated with a friend of mine that was kind of a designer to make a new website for his was kind of kind of a web agency. And yeah, I collaborated with him to create his new website. This was my very first project. Actually, it was a very simple one because it was a one-page website, but it really helped me. Yeah, then started my Webflow path. Yeah, so I'm
And you
really
were
really grateful to
always
him.
focusing only on development. You were never doing the design side of
Uh,
things.
at the very beginning, yeah, I really wanted to focus on design as well. But yeah, as time went by, I realized that probably yeah, development was something that was closer to yeah, I don't know, part of my attitude probably. And so at the end, I decided to let's say quit anything related to design and only focus on development. And indeed, probably this is the reason why recently I've started focusing more on let's say projects that are more code related instead of just yeah building things with native Webflow components. But yeah, anyway, the thing is that after studying my business, I was feeling like I had to kind of try something new. I really wanted to move out of Italy, but I really hadn't any ideas yeah about yeah where I could go.
Why?
And
By the
I
way, why did you want to go out of Italy?
Oh, because I always lived in Italy,
Oh, got it. So
and
just
so I
to
really
see
wanted to
something
do
different.
yeah. I really wanted to do an experience abroad. A lot of friends of mine from university went abroad to either to study or work, and I didn't get that chance at that time. And so yeah, I just thought that that could be the right time to try something new. Yeah, and I've always been fascinated by Japanese language and Japanese culture, but I never get the chance to look at these things closer. And probably COVID helped me with that because during probably it was June 2020, I decided to start studying Japanese. It was yeah just for fun actually. I just started watching a few videos on YouTube, of course. Then I bought a few books, and yeah, everything's then uh, goes yeah went naturally and but it took me probably a couple of years to really decide to move to Japan because I didn't even know what I could do to get there. And yeah, in the end, I realized that I needed a student visa to go there. Otherwise, yeah, you need kind of an agency that sponsors you for to get a working visa. But it's yeah, on one end, it's really tough, or actually, this is what they say here. And on the other, I really didn't work for a company like as an employee. So so the only option that I had to stay here for longer than 3 months was to get this student visa. And so yeah, right now I'm living in Tokyo and I'm studying Japanese here in an intercultural institute, international school kind of yeah, is full of students from all around the world. A lot of Italian people, probably too many, but yeah, that's a whole other story. And yeah,
That's very
so
cool. So
it's
we kind of jumped from you struggling to start your freelance business to, okay, now I've got a business. Let's move to Japan. Is it
yeah,
like
actually it was tougher than that because I spent more than a year basically only focused on work and on my business because yeah, I really needed to get a constant workflow, and also yeah, I needed to save money to come here. So yeah, right now if I try to summarize, everything seems way simpler than it was, but yeah, it was very tough, especially at the very beginning, because yeah, I have to say that I took the decision to quit my 9 to 5 job without probably yeah, probably I couldn't have done that. Probably I had to wait a bit longer. And so yeah, but anyway, yeah, I'm here now. So
yeah. What part did, I think you are like a Webflow expert partner, right? You're in the
oh
Webflow
yeah,
experts program.
I yeah, I think I took the certification during 2021,
Did
spring or
that
summer
play any
2021.
part in growing the business? I know a lot of people get leads from being in a
Yeah, at the
program
very
or
beginning, yeah, I have to say that at the very beginning it helped me get few interesting jobs. But yeah, so I have to
right
say
now
that
it's not like a big thing anymore.
Oh,
Or
no, it's not a big deal anymore, I have to say, because I managed to grow my own network. So most of, the most interesting jobs or projects right now come from, my network and not from,
how did you? What
let's
was
say,
the
external
process of
companies.
that? Like, how did you went about building your network? So you've mentioned the Flux community to get started,
Yeah.
but what else worked?
And
You also
then
mentioned
I
LinkedIn.
invested, I invested a lot on LinkedIn basically, and I started posting, comments on a weekly basis. And then I also published a few projects on my public profile on Webflow, and then I made posts about those works on LinkedIn, and that really helped me get a lot of connections, to be honest. But probably the most interesting ones came from, I think came from Flux Academy, to be honest.
Oh, really?
If I
That's
try
really
to think
cool.
about it, yeah.
That's really cool. What's like the biggest, most interesting one that you did?
Hmm. I don't know, but probably one of the most interesting one is the next one I will working on. I'll be working on in probably a couple of weeks, I guess. And it's kind of a personal project, or actually, I'll collaborate with a designer to build a project that hopefully will submit to awards, and is about raising the awareness on violence on women. And it really seems a very, very interesting project with a lot of animations and interactions, a lot of flexibility and room for me to, to do, let's say, to play with Webflow and let's say to do whatever I want. And also the content of the website is really is great. So I'm really looking forward to it. We'll kick off the project on Friday, and then in a couple of weeks we'll actually start working on it. So I'm really excited about that.
Nice. Sounds like a great project. So how were you thinking about this move to Japan? Or like, did you save money? Did you have to, be okay with your clients? Everything is remote, right? All your clients are
Yeah,
remote.
I have to say that I still have to find the right balance between study, work, and life. And managing time zone is a bit hard because I work with people from Europe and from US as well.
Oh yeah.
And so you have to be aware that they all have a completely different time zone. And and you also have to avoid working late at night, for example, because I don't think it's good for your health anyway. But yeah, probably actually the toughest thing here is getting used to the life here in Japan. Actually, probably interacting with people, because I don't know how it is there in Israel, for example, but in Italy they don't really speak English, and here is almost the same. So let's say if you don't know Japanese, it's very hard to interact with people. Maybe they understand if you talk in English, but they are kind of shy, and they really don't want to answer you in in English. So they just speak in Japanese. And the curious thing is that a lot of times when you try to let's say repeat things once again, instead of using, let's say, instead of speaking slowlier, they just repeat the same things but with different words. So you just get more confused than before.
And
And
do
yeah,
you have any other community besides local? Do you have any like Italian friends there or other kind of like
oh
international
yeah,
people that you hang out with?
I have a few Italian friends here. I usually hang out with that attended my the same school as mine. So, and also I also met probably either three or four people from Flux community that live in Tokyo here.
Oh,
So
really? That's cool.
yeah.
I don't think we have a big Japanese audience, but I think it's pretty cool. So how you
Uh,
like living in Tokyo? Is it living up to your expectations?
Oh, yeah, I have to say that I can be happy with that so far. So, from time to time, it doesn't really, I'm not feeling like living in Japan, because anyway, Tokyo is a very modern city, a huge city. So, it seems like from time to time, it seems like I'm still in the west side of the world. but it's interesting because you have this I don't know, huge buildings, and then you have from time to time these small temples here that pop up uh, when you walk along the street. And yeah, so let's say traditions and modernity, I don't know, are living together here. So, and this is something that probably, yeah, I couldn't experience in Italy, not
Yeah.
at this level here. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you walk in Rome, you've got the Colosseum and stuff like that. So that's pretty ancient as well, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
besides
But
the besides the ancient European stuff.
yeah, yeah, but the thing is that here, it seems that yeah, it's almost everywhere the same thing, because yeah, you go to another city and it's just the same. You have modern buildings and you have temples
Yeah, it's
and
like the ancient culture is still alive. It's not like
yeah,
ruins,
yeah, yeah.
something old. Yeah. Yeah, I get that. So you mentioned you're thinking about growing a team. Tell me about that.
Oh yeah, I decided probably the time has come to start, yeah, growing, because yeah, working alone is good, but I would like to I wouldn't say, at least right now, I don't want to grow or build a company at the moment, but yeah, I'm kind of started thinking about it. But having someone that I can trust and that could help me, I think that could be really useful to then grow my business. So yeah, earn more and even offer a better service to my clients.
But is that
And
because
so
there's too much demand and you can't take all the projects, or some projects are just too big for you to do by yourself? Or is it like, are you bored with doing certain parts and you want to delegate them?
yeah, on one end, it's because I usually get more work than I can handle alone. But on the other, I would really like to kind of shift from let's say pure development to managing a small team of developers, and anyway to content creation on YouTube, for example. And I would also love to experiment a bit more with 3D and mix 3D, I don't know, for example, 3JS with Webflow. And so I would like to focus a bit more on code related stuff anyway, that are related to the 3D world. And so I have to say, to create the time to study new things without quitting. Yeah, without quitting anything. That is really, yeah, giving money right now,
Yeah.
because anyway,
Although
life
one thing
is
I learned is that management it's not necessarily freeing up your time. I mean, because you have
yeah,
to manage
that
people, you
is
have to
true.
talk to them, you have to, there's kind of like overhead. So it's not necessarily, yeah, I guess it's, allows you to scale productivity, but it's does not always clears up your time. It adds
Yeah, yeah,
more, yeah,
that's
more
true.
things to worry about.
You have to be very careful.
Yeah. Cool. So yeah, I checked out your YouTube channel and I was curious about your idea of teaching Webflow with the whiteboard. Where did that came from?
Oh, actually, I don't know. If I have to give an answer, probably I would say because my mom is a teacher, but I don't know if that is the real reason. And to be honest, I always said, at least to my mom, that I really didn't like teaching or actually work as a teacher. But I have to say that teaching things to people is, I don't know, I really like it, because it's something that is very, very difficult. I mean, you have to be really, you have to know really well your stuff, and also find a way to clearly explain things to people, because a lot of times you just, I don't know, you just can do something, you don't really know why or how. I mean, you're just good at doing that stuff. And so simplify things to make them available for a lot of people is, yeah, is really, really tough. You have to carefully think about it. And probably this is the part that I like the most. I don't know, but I think that, yeah, this is definitely the most, yeah, most interesting things about teaching, at least for me. So
What, figuring
um,
out how to simplify the idea so that you can share it?
oh, sorry, I didn't get it.
Is do you mean that your favorite part is finding how to simplify the
Yeah,
idea?
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. let's say, take tough topics and try to simplify that so that everyone can understand them. Yeah, this is the most challenging part, but also the most interesting part for me.
Yeah, for sure.
And I wanted to
I
do something different, actually. So this is another reason why I decided to pick whiteboard and start teaching Webflow and whiteboard.
It's a cool approach. It's a cool approach. I thought it was interesting. I do think like my feedback when I watched this was that I think it's good to kind of like explain the concepts, but then you sometimes you want to show people where it is on the interface. So I think I would do that and maybe overlay some screen recordings as well. But
Oh, yeah.
it is an interesting approach.
Thank you.
Cool. So I've had some like not technical, but like Webflow questions to you. I'm starting off the production right now of the new iteration of the Webflow Masterclass. And
Okay.
here's a topic that I'm thinking about a lot, and it relates to what you said right now in terms of how to simplify complex idea. So, I know a lot of people struggle with styling in the sense of they would like people to tell them exactly how to style, right? Give me a framework. And a lot of people are talking about client first or, the BEM framework. And I personally find that these frameworks are very, very heavy and complex. And most people, it's kind of like an overkill for them. That's why so far I never wanted to teach them. But I do see that my approach, which was very, very simple, like super simple, it's just like write something that is clear to you, is too simple for a lot of people. So I'm trying to do my research on what other people are doing to figure out if there's a way to create a very simple framework for people to understand. So that leads to the question, which is like, what's your styling philosophy of choice? Like, how do you work on your projects?
Yeah, I don't think that I'm really let's say framework friendly. I'm not a framework friendly developer, because I think that you really have to be aware of the scope and purpose of a specific framework, because otherwise, yeah, as you said, it's really easy to get lost and messed up with everything. And so my approach actually is, let's say, looking very closely at the design, and if possible, even ask to the designer to build along with the website a clear style guide that then I can just translate into Webflow classes and styling. Because from time to time, yeah, when you want to use a framework, maybe you end up facing situations where you need to find workarounds or change a few things. And I don't know, this idea to force the framework to behave differently, and I don't know, I don't really like it anyway. So if you know that from the very beginning, if you know that that framework is a good fit for that project, okay, yeah, let just go for it. But otherwise, probably it's easier, I think, even for the client or for any of your collaborators to just come up with a style guide or a developing structure that is really useful, that is specific to that project. So actually, this is my approach, and this is why
But
I
I
don't.
think I agree with you. But what I find people, especially people who are kind of like early in their Webflow journey, is when you tell them, okay, come up with your own system, they're like, wait, I don't know how to do that. So what should I
Yeah,
do?
that is true. Because the thing is that you first have to be really, really aware, I think, of Webflow native components, and also, yeah, a few let's say things that are related to design only, to then if you want to really start creating your own framework on your own way of building websites. Because yeah, otherwise it would be really, really easy to get lost in your own in your own thoughts when trying to build a website. So yeah, actually, this is a very, very tough questions, and probably, if someone wants to teach people how to build their own framework, that people should stress a lot the importance of knowing even the design itself, and all the components you will use inside your project. So yeah, I think that we
What do you think
as
about
a
so
teacher.
now I see a lot on Twitter, there's kind of like the debate that there's people who are just they just start designing within Webflow. They're not looking at a Figma design. They're just building in Webflow straight away. In that case, they don't have like they can't think about everything in advance,
Yeah,
right?
I don't really like that approach, because you have, at least in my opinion, you have to have a reference, something that you can look at, and something you can focus on before developing, to then understand how that design needs to be built inside Webflow. You cannot just start right into Webflow and start developing your projects without even know, yeah, how it would look like, let's say on desktop, for example. I think that in the end it would be yeah, a waste of time, because you will have to, let's say, fix a lot of things. I never tried that, but I have this feeling that it's really really inconvenient. So
Yeah, for sure. What's your take on all of the new UI kits and libraries? Everybody's sharing libraries or UI kits, selling them, Reloom, all these kind of things. Do you use them?
not at all,
Not at
to be
all.
honest. If I need something, I just yeah, try to search, yeah, to browse the internet. But yeah, I'm not a huge fan of this kind of things. I mean, if a new library comes out, I'm not the person that wants to install it on Webflow and try it. I don't know why, but I just don't like this. I just don't like this approach. If I need something, I can search for it, and then I will add it to my project. If not, yeah, I don't really like, yeah, try things around. So
Nice.
yeah, I don't know.
Got it.
It's good to test new things, but yeah, you don't really have to do that each and every time something new pops out, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Fantastic. Any other recommendations for me while I'm thinking about this new iteration of the Webflow Masterclass? From your perspective, from what you hear students saying?
Oh, yeah, it would be great, but I know that it's tough to organize things to, yeah. I mean, I feel like a lot of people would need something that is more code related. I mean, know a bit of the basics, let's say, of JavaScript, for example. But I think that it's really, really tough first to come up with a course that is not huge, and also to really simplify things for people that have just started out. But I think that it would be very very interesting, even if you, let's say, if you could teach a bit of CSS as well, because I think that knowing CSS could be really helpful to understand even more, let's say, all the properties that are listed in the design panel inside Webflow. And so probably it would be better for people, because they would learn, they would be a better Webflow developer, in my opinion, because knowing CSS can really help you understand all, yeah, the meanings of all the properties that you can see on Webflow design panel. And also probably even it would raise your awareness about, yeah, how to build, even how to build uh, websites in Webflow. And knowing JavaScript can give you something more, because then you can start adding even small things to your Webflow project to work around a few limitations inside Webflow. And probably it would even help you become more aware or of a few solutions that are out there. For example, yeah, the fins with attribute solution, for example. Knowing a bit of code, I think that, yeah, could really help you better understand how things are working behind the scenes. And probably you will end up struggling less than usual, because you're, yeah, again, you're more aware of what is going on. Yeah, but it takes time anyway, even for someone that is willing to learn, because you really have to, let's say, focus on that thing, and accept the fact that it takes time and effort to become good at coding. But I think that, yeah, anyone can learn code anyway. Yeah, this is my opinion.
Nice. Amazing. Thank you, Francesco. It was awesome to catch up and chat. Good luck with everything in Japan. Sounds super exciting. I'm so happy for
Yeah,
you.
yeah, super exciting. Tough, but yeah, I will be here for a couple of years, and then we'll see. yeah, I don't know if I will open my business here but anyway, yeah, at least 2 years I I will stay here. So let's see,
Fantastic.
how it will go. Yeah.
Amazing. Happy that we're still able to collaborate even across the world, and you can be
Oh,
part of our
yeah.
team. Thank you for everything that you're doing in our community, and
Oh,
thank you for joining me for this chat.
oh,
Cheers.
thank you for the great opportunity for the invitation to this episode of the podcast. So it
All
was
right.
awesome.
Cheers.